Okay, so quick review. So this is what we have discussed. This is what we have discussed the other day about the main arteries, okay, of the head and neck. So as you can see, binaliktad ko yung buong diagram. Okay. So I realized when I was reviewing my slides na when we're talking about the arteries of the head and neck, no? So it's basically coming from the heart and then it goes outwards. Kasi di ba, kung naalala niyo yung diagram last time, yung left ventricle to ascending aorta, nandito sa taas and then pababa. But then, yun nga, sabi ko, I realized like when we're talking about arteries, it's from the heart and it goes outwards towards the different parts of the body, and in particular this time towards your head and neck. Okay, so just as a review, as what we have said last time, so oxygenated blood coming from the heart would be at your left ventricle, and then it would be pumped to your ascending aorta, and then from the ascending aorta it's going to be distributed to the different arteries, and syempre dadaanan niya yung arch of the aorta, and then from the arch of the aorta, we mentioned last time, at the arch of the aorta there are three main branches. One would be your brachiocephalic artery or your innominate artery, then you have your left common carotid artery and your left subclavian artery, and then we said that we'll follow the right path. So from the arch of the aorta, brachiocephalic artery, then it would divide into your right subclavian and your right common carotid artery. Okay. And then we said that from the right common carotid artery or from the common carotid artery, it's going to divide further into your internal carotid artery and your external carotid artery. Okay. So kung naalala ninyo yung mga pinag-usapan natin last time when we talk about your internal carotid artery, the important arteries that you have to take note of would be your ophthalmic artery, and you have the different arteries within the circle of Willis. So for the internal carotid artery, as part of the anterior circulation of your circle of Willis, kung naalala nyo, ano-ano yung mga branches na yun? You have your anterior cerebral and your middle cerebral artery. Okay, that's the anterior portion of your circle of Willis. And then we also discussed last time, external carotid artery, and binigyan natin siya ng mnemonic na Salfopson, yes, SALFOPSM. So, dapat by now, alam niyo na kung ano ibig sabihin ng, like what these letters would stand for. And we also talked about, mostly for the external carotid artery, we mostly talked about your maxillary artery. And I gave you some notes regarding your maxillary artery. And the good thing about this one is pwede niyong balikan, so you can refer back to that video as needed. Okay, and then from the subclavian artery naman, we said na it branches out to 5 different branches. At yung mnemonics doon would be your Vit C and D. It's like your vitamin C and D. And there you go. That's the main arteries of your head and neck. Okay, let's see who else are here. Okay. Hi, Irvin. Hi, Matt. And Krista. Okay, nice to see you guys here. Welcome. And dun sa mga manonood ng replay mamaya, just catch up. And if you have questions, you can always post it on the group. Okay? Alright, so for today, ang topic natin ay main veins of the head and neck. So I do hope you're very awake. I don't think it's as long as the arteries, but still a lot of information. Alright, so main veins of the head and neck. So to start, of course, parang yung arteries lang, we dealt with general facts regarding your veins. So kung yung artery ay away from the heart, ang veins naman this time would be, these are the blood vessels that would be leading to bringing in your deoxygenated blood coming from the different tissues, coming from the different organs to the heart. So veins towards the heart, they carry deoxygenated blood or unoxygenated blood, except again your pulmonary vein. Okay, so pulmonary vein would carry oxygenated blood. Now, when it comes to veins, sabi dyan, they have less pressure, less elastic walls. So they have lesser blood pressure, they have lesser elastic walls. Why? Veins, technically, they're the end part of the circulation kasi pabalik na siya sa heart. So if you would recall, it is the heart that pumps blood to the tissues, and then from the tissues, blood would return to the heart via your veins. So if it's a circuit at yung heart, yung pump, then obviously, yung pinakamataas na pressure would be at the beginning of the circuit, which is the arterial side. So pagdating sa venous side or sa mga veins, then there would be lesser pressure kasi pabalik na siya dun sa pump, pabalik na siya dun sa source. Okay, so they have lesser elastic walls. So if you would notice, if you would recall, like on the left hand side, you would see the different layers for your vein. Of course, you still have your smooth muscle, you still have your your different layers, your outer layer, your inner layer, and your middle layer. And if you would recall, yun sa artery, the middle layer would be really thick. Kasi nga, di ba? They have thicker layer of smooth muscle and elastic layer. Pero pagdating sa veins, makikita niyo dito, like, medyo manipis siya. Okay? And another feature that veins have in general would be, it is said that they have valves. Okay, so they have valves, except for the veins in the head and neck area. Okay, so majority of the veins would have valves, except for those in the head and neck area. So, para saan yung valve? Valve would ensure one directional flow. Okay? Hindi siya yung pabalik-balik, yung blood flow. So, yun yung purpose ng valve. But then for the head and neck areas, walang valves. Okay. Easy peasy. Now we move to yung attachment niya sa heart. So as you can see here, the blue one. So you have your superior vena cava right here. So this one would be receiving venous supply from the different portions of your head and neck. And then on the bottom side, you have your inferior vena cava. So it receives venous supply from the different parts of the body. Okay? So your head and neck mostly going into your superior vena cava. And then from the trunk and limbs, it goes through your inferior vena cava. Okay, now, just to give you guys an idea of how these slides are designed. With the arteries, remember I said earlier, like at the beginning of this broadcast, I said na yung arteries, the reason why binaliktad ko yung diagram, kasi it starts from the heart, it goes out. So from bottom, it goes to the top. Now, this one, for the venous system, it's a drainage. Okay, so now we will be starting from the top and then follow it along as it goes down back to the heart. Okay, so let's talk about the veins of the cranium, or the veins that's found in the brain. Now, as what you can see, like in the brain, you have sinuses. We don't really have veins. They're not really called veins, but they're called sinuses. So these sinuses are basically spaces. It's spaces where blood is drained, and these are channels that would eventually lead to a vein. So as what you can see here, from the topmost part of the cranium, you have your superior sagittal sinus right there. If you see the arrow, so that's your superior sagittal sinus. And then you have your inferior sagittal sinus. So blood coming from your superior sagittal sinus, your inferior sagittal sinus, and your occipital sinus right here would flow towards your transverse sinus. So, ano nangyayari with blood flow? So, superior sagittal sinus and inferior sagittal sinus, pababa siya. You see this point right here? There's a junction. So, there's a junction right here. So, dito nagmi-meet yung superior sagittal sinus at yung inferior sagittal sinus. So, ang direction ng blood flow ay pababa, papunta dito sa junction na to. While for the occipital sinus, ang direction ay papunta din doon, ulit sa junction na yun. And from that junction, or from that junction, kung saan nag-meet yung inferior, yung superior, at yung occipital, blood will then drain to your transverse sinus right here. And then it would go down to your sigmoid sinus, and then eventually drain into a vein, which is your internal jugular vein. Okay? Simple. Those are the different veins of the cranium. So, as I've said earlier, they're mostly sinuses. They serve as channels, and these different channels would meet at a certain point. And from that point, it would blood would flow through transverse, sigmoid, and then eventually into your internal jugular vein. So that's the vein for your cranium. All right. Next, we go to the veins of the face. So makikita nyo on the right-hand side, I have listed down like several veins that are really significant, especially when it comes to anatomy and board exams in general. So the veins of the face. So I've listed here, you have your ophthalmic vein, you have your cavernous sinus, you have the pterygoid plexus of veins, you have your facial vein, you have your retromandibular vein. Okay, so we will discuss everything that you see here on the right, one by one. Okay, but just to give you an outline, these are the different veins of the face. Okay, let's start with ophthalmic vein. Okay, ophthalmic veins, based on the name itself, I recall telling you guys last time na arteries, veins, they're named based on the structure that they are supplying or draining. So when we say ophthalmic veins, then dapat pumasok mag-register na sa isip natin, okay, ophthalmic, it should have something to do with the eyes or the eye area. So for the ophthalmic veins, they would drain the oxygenated blood coming from the orbital area. So it's right here, the orbital area. So we have one drainage on top, which is your superior ophthalmic vein, and we have one drainage on the bottom, which is your inferior ophthalmic vein. So these are the veins that would be receiving deoxygenated blood coming from the orbital area. Now, the second bullet point says it communicates with the facial vein via the supraorbital vein. So the superior ophthalmic vein right here that you see on top where the pointer is, it has a communication with your facial vein which starts from here. Ito yung facial vein. Nakikita nyo tong mahabang to sa anterior side ng face. That's your facial vein. So the ophthalmic vein is actually connected to your facial vein via your supraorbital vein. So, dun natin makikita yung connection nila. Okay? So, for now, I just want you guys to know and be conscious na, okay, so, yung facial vein, hindi siya totally separated from your ophthalmic veins. Kasi at some point, may junction sila, which is your supraorbital vein. Okay? So, yun yung connection ng ophthalmic vein sa facial vein. Now, another connection na meron ang ophthalmic vein would be to your cavernous sinus. So, this is your superior ophthalmic vein right here. And this is your inferior ophthalmic vein. Kung susundan nyo siya posteriorly, makikita nyo nandun yung cavernous sinus. Again, when we talk about sinuses, it's a space. Okay? So, pag sinabi mo sigmoid sinus, transverse sinus, it's a space. It's the, so, when you say cavernous sinus, it's a name of a sinus. So, in superior ophthalmic vein, inferior ophthalmic vein, makikita nyo, going posteriorly, nakakonekta siya sa cavernous sinus. So, cavernous sinus is another important drainage area that we would be studying in the next slides. Okay? So, sa ngayon, just imagine this, picture it out. Nakakonekta pala ang ophthalmic vein anteriorly sa facial vein. Posteriorly, nakakonekta siya sa cavernous sinus. And then inferiorly, kung makikita nyo at susundan nyo itong inferior ophthalmic vein, may nakalusot na vein going down. Okay? And then it enters another set of complicated looking veins. Okay? And this area is what we call the pterygoid plexus. So when you encounter the word plexus, imagine nyo na lang na maraming veins. Maraming blood vessels. Yung area na yun. Kaya ang tawag doon ay plexus. Okay? So ito ang pterygoid plexus. So what's important in this slide? Imagine ophthalmic vein. Ophthalmic vein, you have a superior one and you have an inferior one. A superior one and an inferior one. Itong ophthalmic vein na to, connected anteriorly sa facial vein. And then posteriorly, connected siya sa cavernous sinus. And then a little bit inferiorly, connected siya sa pterygoid plexus. Okay? So, based just on this slide, dapat, ang gusto kong ma-imagine ninyo ay kabit-kabit pala silang lahat. Kahit na meron silang distinct na pangalan, at some point, they are connected. Okay? So, hold that thought. Next vein. Next area. Now, the next area that I would like to present to you would be the cavernous sinus. So remember I told you earlier we're going to go from top down. So we started with the drainage in the cranium and then went a little downwards towards the ophthalmic vein. And now a little down or behind it posteriorly would be the cavernous sinus. Now, as I said earlier, when we talk about sinuses, it's basically a cavity. So it's a cavity where the blood would drain. It's an area. Okay? Hindi siya blood vessel. Hindi Hindi siya tubo, hindi siya, it's not a vein, okay? It's a cavity. It's a space right here. So, cavernous sinus, I'm pretty sure, diniscuss niyo to sa GA ninyo. And if you can recall that within your cavernous sinus, there are several very important structures in your cavernous sinus. Okay. So what are the different structures that can be found in your cavernous sinus? You have your CN3, 4, V1, V2. They're all located here on the sides, on the lateral portion. You have your CN3, oculomotor, CN4, trochlear, CNV5, V1, which is your ophthalmic nerve, and then V2, your maxillary nerve. So alam natin na bilateral yan. Diba? Ang cranial nerves, they're bilateral. It exists on the left and on the right. So on the lateral aspect of the cavernous sinus, it is lined by 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, V1, V2. On the medial aspect of the cavernous sinus, doon naman natin makikita yung internal carotid artery at yung napakaliit na abducens nerve or your cranial nerve 6. Okay? I hope that's clear. Now, sabi natin, bilateral siya. So, in the middle of your cavernous sinus, nandyan yung sella. Sella turcica or your pituitary gland. It's right there. So, based on this diagram, actually, you should be able to see na maraming structures pala ang meron dito sa loob ng cavernous sinus. Okay? So, this is one view. Remember, 3D tayo? I mean, we are human beings. We exist in a 3-dimensional plane. Okay? So, this is the other view of the cavernous sinus. This is like from the side. So, cavernous sinus, na-establish na kanina na in itself, marami siyang laman. It contains very important structures. Again, what are those structures? You have your 3, 4, CN3, 4, V1, V2 on the lateral aspect. And on the medial aspect, you have your internal carotid artery and your 6, CN6, your abducens nerve. Okay. So, that's just within the cavernous sinus itself. But if you would take a look at this picture right here, we can also see that the cavernous sinus, ito, is connected to so many other things. Okay? So, the cavernous sinus is connected to other sinuses from the brain. Ano yung mga sinus na yun galing sa brain? Ito yung kanina, the superior sagittal sinus. You have your inferior sagittal sinus. And then, ito yung junction. Yung pinag-usapan natin, yung confluence ng sinuses. And then, yung occipital sinus. And then, the transverse. And it goes down to your sigmoid. And then, eventually, to your internal jugular vein. Now, itong cavernous sinus na to, how is it connected to all these other sinuses? See this right here? That's your petrosal sinus. So, the cavernous sinus is actually connected to your other sinuses via your superior and inferior petrosal sinus. Okay. So, cavernous sinus, connected siya dito. And then kanina, with the ophthalmic vein, sinabi natin, it is connected to your, anteriorly to your ophthalmic veins. You have your superior ophthalmic vein and you have your inferior ophthalmic vein. So, connected din siya dyan. And then, going downwards, inferiorly, connected din siya sa pterygoid plexus via your emissary veins. So, you have your emissary veins, connected siya dun. So, ngayon, ano ngayon ang significance nito? What's the significance of all this? So, having, now that you see kung paano sila connected sa isa't isa, anong significance nito? Well, the significance is, I'm pretty sure you've heard of this, and isa to sa mga favorite na tinatanong lagi. Cavernous sinus thrombosis. Okay? So, what is cavernous sinus thrombosis? As of this point, no, hindi pa natin dinedefine kung anong cavernous sinus thrombosis. But, up to here, you should be able to picture it out. Okay, connected pala silang lahat. Drainage coming from the brain, drainage coming from the facial vein, from your ophthalmic veins, pterygoid plexus, they're all connected. So what is cavernous sinus thrombosis? Now, cavernous sinus thrombosis is actually the formation of a blood clot in the cavernous sinus area. So, ano nga yung contents ng cavernous sinus area? You have your CN3, 4, V1, V2 on the lateral aspect. You have your internal carotid artery and your abducens nerve on the medial aspect. So, cavernous sinus thrombosis, formation of a blood clot in that area. Saan ngayon nanggaling yung blood clot na yun? Okay. And why is this important, especially in dentistry, like for us? And why should we be concerned? Okay. So, cavernous sinus thrombosis, sabi niyan, meron siyang blood clot. Saan nanggaling yung blood clot na yun? The next point says it may be due to an eye infection, or a dental infection, or a sinus infection. So, kung merong infection, upper maxillary, upper teeth, you have infection in your eye, you have infection like anywhere, especially in this danger triangle of the face. If you have any infection in this area, anong pwedeng mangyari? Pwedeng mag-form ng clot. At yung clot na yon, hindi siya ordinary clot kasi infected clot siya. Now, that clot can actually reside or can be lodged within your cavernous sinus area. So, anong mangyayari ngayon kapag merong blood clot at nag-lodge siya or sumiksik siya sa cavernous sinus area? Then definitely, if you would recall the contents of your cavernous sinus, lahat ng mga bagay na yun, lahat ng mga nerves na yun, maapektuhan. Ano-ano ulit sila? Para lang tumatak sa isip nyo, no? Ano-ano ulit yung mga nerves na yun? You have your CN3, 4, V1, V2 on the lateral aspect. You have CN6 on the medial aspect and your internal carotid artery. So imagine, meron kang gumagalang infected na blood clot, and then it would lodge on one of your important structures. So anywhere here, pwede siya. Kasi diba, ito ay sinus, so it's a space. This is a space. So anywhere in these areas, pwedeng mag-lodge yung infective blood clot. So since it's an infection, then we know that it is not good. Ano ang mangyayari ngayon when there is cavernous sinus thrombosis? So as you can see, like with this person right here on the upper right, nakita niyo kung ano nangyari sa mata niya? Aside from having bloodshot eyes, namaga, so nagkaroon ng inflammation yung orbital region. And then for this person right here, what can you notice sa mata niya? How would you compare one from the other? Pansinin niyo yung right eye niya. Yung right eye niya, gumagalaw pa, di ba? It can look to the right, center, to the left. But take a look at the left eye. It doesn't go anywhere. It is not moving at all. Why? Because sometimes when an infective clot lodges within the cavernous sinus area, you can actually experience several things. So nakasulat dito, signs and symptoms, it depends on which structure is affected. Imagine mo, napakaraming structures na pwedeng ma-affect. Like 4 on one side and then 2. That's 6 structures all in all. So, for example, if the CN4 is affected, then, most likely that person can have double visions or ophthalmoplegia. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Anything that you see, well, plegia or plegia, it means what? Weakness. So ophthalmo would pertain to your eye. So it's technically weakness in your eye muscles. So if there's a weakness in the eye muscles, hindi siya makaka-turn where you want it to turn. Even if you want to, like turn your eyes to the left, it wouldn't happen. Kasi nga, may weakness dun sa muscle. And then if CN6 or your abducens nerve is affected, then the person can end up with like a temporary cross eye. So usually, sabi nila, when it comes to cavernous sinus thrombosis, the most affected among all the sinus contents would be your CN6 because it's the smallest and it's on the medial aspect. So, yun. That's the reason why, for any dental infection or eye infection, binabantayan siya, di ba? And that's why we prescribe antibiotics. Because we don't want any part of that infection traveling through the venous drainage of the head and neck. So, remember, let me go back to that picture. Okay. Remember we said na head and neck area, yung veins dito, they don't have valves. So if there's any infection traveling from this part of the facial vein, it can travel to your pterygoid plexus. It can go up to your cavernous sinus. If there's an eye infection involving any left or right side, it can travel, the infection can travel via your ophthalmic vein to your cavernous sinus. So, in the head and neck area, walang valve. So, ang blood flow, bidirectional. I mean, walang control. And then, at the same time, in the head and neck area, aside from, having slow blood flow, and aside from having no valves, yung blood flow din dito sa area na to ay slow. Kasi nga, di ba, it's away from the heart, it's away from the pumping pressure. So, slow-moving blood at meron kang nagtatravel na infective clot, then it can really easily lodge anywhere. Okay? Another thing, hindi lang siya dental infection, hindi lang siya eye infection, hindi lang siya, sinus infection in case na may sinus problem, but sino sa inyo ang mahilig na mag-pop ng tagyawat? Alam mo yun? Pag may tagyawat, ang hilig yung tirisin at anuhin, at yun, ang hilig yung tirisin. So, you have to be careful. Or kung meron kayong kakilala na mahilig sa ganun, you have to be careful. Why? See that danger triangle of the face? So, anywhere from that triangle, if you keep popping those pimples and it becomes infected, then you know you can trace the blood flow. So infection can go in, it can travel back, it can lodge, it can form a clot and lodge somewhere along the cavernous sinus. And you don't want that. So, ano yun? Kung mahilig kayong mag-pop ng mga tagyaw at tigil-tigilan nyo na. Okay? And then, I failed to mention, sabi dyan, Staph aureus is the usual causative agent for that infected clot. So, staph species. Okay. All right, so that's your cavernous sinus. All right. Next, we go to your pterygoid plexus. So, pterygoid plexus, kung imagine natin, it's somewhere inferior to your cavernous sinus. So, cavernous sinus, may emissary vein. And then, sa ilalim nun, that would be your pterygoid plexus. And then, as I mentioned earlier, anything or anywhere you see plexus, it just means it's a network of veins. Why is it called pterygoid plexus? Because it's in the pterygoid part. It's in the pterygoid portion of your head. That's why it's called pterygoid plexus. Now, the pterygoid plexus, it drains blood from deep facial tissues, intraoral cavity, and meninges. And if you would follow this network of veins, eventually it would drain into your maxillary vein. So you see it right here, yung manipis na yan, maxillary vein. And then eventually would go down via your retromandibular vein to enter your internal jugular vein. Ano significance ng pterygoid plexus? Although it does not contain that many important structures like your cavernous sinus, ang point lang netong pterygoid plexus na to ay it is connected via emissary vein still to your ophthalmic vein and to the cavernous sinus. It is connected anteriorly to your facial vein via your deep facial vein. So, the whole important matter when it comes to vein ay lahat sila konektado. So, infection on one area can travel to the cavernous sinus, to the pterygoid plexus, and so forth. Okay? So, yun yung pinaka dapat na maintindihan natin when it comes to studying the venous drainage for the head and neck. Okay, so that's your pterygoid plexus. Now we move to the facial vein. So amongst in the head and neck, facial vein, main vein of the face. Okay? At marami siyang mga tributaries ang facial vein. So there are books that would say it forms from your angular vein. Angular vein is right here. Right there, your angular vein. Sabi nila, ang angular vein would be the junction of your supraorbital and your supratrochlear vein. That's your angular vein right there. So from this point in the angular vein, downwards, that's your facial vein. So, paulit-ulit na sinasabi ko sa inyo, it communicates with the cavernous sinus somewhere here, via your superior ophthalmic vein, and it communicates to the pterygoid plexus here via your deep facial vein. So it connects to the pterygoid plexus through the deep facial vein, and then that pterygoid plexus would connect to emissary veins going to your cavernous sinus. Okay, so yun yung top part. And then eventually, itong facial vein na to, it would go down, 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 form your common facial vein, and then it would go into your jugular vein. So, the facial vein, it drains your submandibular gland and your thyroid gland and other structures supplied by your facial artery. So, if you would recall last time, yung mga areas supplied by your facial artery, they are basically the same ones that's being catered to by your facial vein. Okay, so we move on to the tributaries. Now, here, the facial vein tributaries have been separated into two or categorized into two. So you have your facial part and you have the cervical part of your facial vein. So for the facial part, sabi natin, it starts from the top, the supratrochlear and supraorbital. So it forms your angular vein. And then it goes down to external nasal, inferior palpebral, superior inferior labial, deep facial, and then eventually it would go drain from your buccinator, your parotid gland, and your masseter muscle. So that's the facial aspect. So ito yung facial aspect na yan. You have your supraorbital, your supratrochlear, your angular vein right here, and then it goes down your inferior palpebral, lateral nasal, and then go down, superior labial, go down again, inferior labial, and then it would be draining from your muscles. Now, the other part of your facial vein would be on the cervical aspect. Ano yung makikita natin sa cervical part ng facial vein? There, it would drain the submental area, the tonsillar area, exterior palatine area, your lingual, your submandibular area, pharyngeal, superior thyroid. So, cervical. So, nandito na siya. Neck area. Okay, so, yun yung mga dinidrain ng facial vein. Submental, when you say submental, nasa chin aspect. So, tonsillar towards the posterior of the oral cavity. And then you have your external palatine, you have your lingual side, submandibular, which is close to the floor of the mouth. And then pharyngeal, superior thyroid. And on the right side, right here, the facial vein, as it goes down, no, to the neck area, it will actually join with your retromandibular vein. Nakikita niyo to? This is your retromandibular vein. Now, the retromandibular vein right here would separate into an anterior aspect and a posterior aspect. The anterior aspect of your retromandibular vein would join with your facial vein to form the common facial vein right here. And then eventually, this common facial vein would drain into your internal jugular vein. Yan, nakasulat dyan. Facial vein plus anterior portion of your retromandibular vein would give you the common facial vein. And then eventually, drain to your internal jugular vein. Okay. Any questions so far? So if you have questions, just, just ask. Type in your question. And then we'll see how we can answer. Okay? So moving on, your retromandibular vein. So nasa medyo baba na tayo. Malapit na tayong makarating sa sa heart. Okay. So, the retromandibular vein, right here. So, the retromandibular vein is actually continuation din lang yan. If you would look at the top, you see your superficial temporal vein right here going down. It will be met by your maxillary vein right here sa may parotid gland area. So, pag nag-join na yung superficial temporal at yung maxillary vein, you have your retromandibular vein. Why is it called retromandibular vein? Retro meaning ano? At the back. Mandibular, well, at the back of the mandible. That's where you'll see it. So, retromandibular vein, ba ito yung mandible? Ayan. At the back of it, you have your retromandibular vein, which divides into two. Anterior component and a posterior component. So, the anterior component, sinabi natin kanina, it joins with your facial vein right here. So, anterior retromandibular vein plus facial vein would give you this short junction, which we now call the common facial vein. Now, this common facial vein connected dun, internal jugular vein. And then the posterior division right here, posterior division. The posterior division would join with your posterior auricular vein, draining to your external jugular vein. So technically, yung posterior part, it drains directly to your external jugular vein. Nagkataon lang na nag-meet sila nung posterior auricular vein. Because this one drains straight to your external jugular vein as well. Okay? So that's your retromandibular vein. Nakakalito na ba? So basically, well, as of this point, if you would recall, what we have discussed so far when it comes to venous drainage, so you start with the head, you start with the cranium, and you know that in the cranium, you have your sinuses, diba? Superior orbital sinus, inferior orbital sinus, and then you have one occipital coming from the back, nag-merge sila somewhere sa gitna, and then transverse, sigmoid, internal jugular vein. That's from the top. And then you go a little downwards, you have veins for your eyes, supplying your eyes. So you have top superior ophthalmic, you have bottom inferior ophthalmic. So kung ititrace nyo siya, yung blood vessel na yun, it goes posteriorly. Itong blood vessel na to sa baba, it goes posteriorly. It connects to your cavernous sinus. And then, itong sa baba, it connects downward to your pterygoid plexus. And then, it can also connect, dito siya, diba? Superior and inferior. It can also connect to your supra orbital vein. So, may connect siya sa facial vein. So, basically, yun yung mga pinag-usapan natin na iba-ibang veins. But then, when they all go down, the facial vein, sa dulo niya, it would connect to your retromandibular vein to form your common facial vein. Now, saan nanggaling tong retromandibular vein? It is formed by the joining of your superficial temporal and maxillary vein. So, giving you your retromandibular vein. It divides into two, an anterior component and a posterior component. The anterior component joins with your common facial vein, and it gives you, your anterior component would connect with your facial vein to form your common facial vein, and then your posterior component would just drain straight to your external jugular vein. It may sound complicated, pero If you study it like systematically, you'll get it. So when a question is asked of you, you'll be able to trace it easily. Okay. Okay. Now we're down to the bottom of it all. The veins of the neck. So we're done with the veins of the cranium, the face. Now we're down to the neck area. So madali lang naman sa neck area kasi lahat sila, pangalan nila jugular vein. It's just that there's an internal one, an external one, and an anterior one. So for your internal jugular vein, it drains your extracranial and intracranial tissues of the head and neck. That's your internal jugular vein. External jugular vein, it drains extracranial tissues from head and face. So kanina, kailan lang ba natin na-meet si extrajugular vein? Na-encounter lang natin siya with the posterior auricular vein, draining to it, at saka yung posterior aspect ng retromandibular vein connecting to it. And then, another jugular vein in existence would be the anterior one. So how are they related to each other? So ito yung internal. It's right here. It's really internal, deep within. And then you have your anterior jugular veins. Now, the anterior jugular veins, you can see it on the neck, like literally on the frontal surface of the neck, right there. That's your anterior jugular vein. And then the external jugular vein, it's really external. It's on the lateral aspect, right here. If you would take a look at the diagram here, on the right, you have your external jugular vein on the lateral aspect. And then medial would be your internal jugular vein. And then right smack, dead center of your neck, you have your anterior jugular vein. Now, anterior jugular vein, if you would trace it, you'd see na it can go drain directly into your subclavian vein, or take a look at this other side, or it can drain into your external jugular vein. Okay? So it's normal. There are anterior jugular veins that would drain directly into your subclavian vein, but there are anterior jugular veins that would drain first to your external jugular vein. So here, when it comes close to the vena cava, you'd be encountering familiar terms again. So you have your external jugular vein forming, and your internal jugular vein right here, forming your subclavian vein, and then eventually draining to your brachiocephalic vein, and then draining to your superior vena cava. And then right atrium receives what? The right atrium receives your deoxygenated blood. Okay, internal jugular vein. We've been talking about this since the beginning kasi halos lahat sa kanya nagde-drain. Now, some details regarding your internal jugular vein. Why is it called jugular? Because it passes through your jugular foramen. So your internal jugular vein passes through your jugular foramen. It descends in the carotid sheath. Remember carotid sheath? From the other day when we talked about your arteries. Ano nga ulit ang contents ng carotid sheath? If you would recall. Ano-ano ang contents ng carotid sheath? You have what? You have your internal carotid. You have your common carotid artery. What else? Diba usually vein, artery, and nerve meron? So you have your artery side, internal carotid, common carotid. Your vein side, you have your internal jugular vein. And then cranial nerve side, cranial nerve 10, your vagus nerve. Okay? Plus your deep cervical nodes and your sympathetic trunk. Those are the contents of your carotid sheath. Okay? So, the internal jugular vein, it descends in the carotid sheath, lateral to your common carotid and CN10, or your vagus nerve. It drains your brain, your skull, your oral cavity, your superficial structures of the face and neck. Now, your internal jugular vein, right here, it merges with your subclavian vein to form your brachiocephalic vein, which will eventually, ito siya, internal carotid and your subclavian would form your brachiocephalic vein and then enter superior vena cava and then your heart. Okay, so that's your internal jugular vein. So dito natin makikita yung kanyang mga tributaries. It drains the facial vein. It drains the veins of the cranium right here. Internal jugular vein. Then eventually, superior vena cava. Okay, so this is like a schematic diagram. I got this from your first aid NBDE. Let's see if we can decipher this. Okay, so anterior facial vein, right here. Ito yung ano na, medyo babang area na siya. So you have your superficial temporal vein. Remember, dito may maxillary vein na kumonekta. Pterygoid plexus of veins connects to your maxillary vein. Maxillary vein plus superficial temporal vein would form your retromandibular vein. Retromandibular vein would divide anteriorly and posteriorly. Anterior division would merge with your facial vein to form your common facial vein. The common facial vein would drain into your internal jugular vein. On the back side, on the posterior side, posterior division of your retromandibular vein would drain directly into your external jugular vein. Other veins coming from the posterior aspect, your posterior auricular vein, drains directly onto your external jugular vein. And then eventually, you'd form your subclavian vein and your brachiocephalic vein, and then you'd end up at the superior vena cava. Okay. So this is a pretty simple diagram right here. What you can do as a review, konektahan nyo to dito pataas. Kasi for sure, meron pa ditong kadugtong, di ba? Remember, your facial vein, it goes all the way to the top. You have your supraorbital and you have your supraorbital and supratrochlear forming your angular vein, and then it goes down, 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 down. And then remember, if you go posteriorly from your supratrochlear, supraorbital, you have your superior ophthalmic somewhere here. You have your inferior ophthalmic somewhere here. And then it would be connected to your cavernous sinus. And then somewhere down, it would be connected to your pterygoid plexus of vein. And then the pterygoid plexus would be somehow connected to your anterior facial vein via your deep facial vein somewhere here. And then siguro mga ilang ulit lang nito, makikita nyo, alam nyo na siya. Walang kahirap-hirap, alam nyo na siya. I mean, I don't know how, but it happens. I guess you just have to believe that it will happen. Well, it happened for me. I mean, I just keep repeating this. Kahit ngayon na inuulit ko siya sa inyo, yeah, they're just from what I see in front of me and wala akong notes na nakabukas. Sa kakaulit, you'll be able to remember it. Hanggang kailan nyo siya dapat maalala? Well, hanggang board exam. At least hanggang board exam, patagalin nyo siya. Huwag naman yung maalala nyo siya ngayon, bukas nakalimutan nyo na. Okay? Now, clinical significance. Let's go to this. Let's go to this slide. Clinical significance. Anong clinical significance ngayon itong jugular vein, the external jugular vein? So as what you can see here on the slide, there's such a condition called jugular venous distension. So nakikita niyo to. Ano yung hindi kasabihan yun eh. You know, like how a person who's so angry is described. Di ba parang nangangalit na yung mo. Parang puputok na yung mga yung mga blood vessel mo. So, may tamang term doon eh. Mali lang yung delivery ko eh. Pero alam mo yun, yung nangangalit na yung mga ugat mo. Yun. So, jugular venous distension. And that's exactly what this is. On a normal person, who's healthy, you're not supposed to see any vessel dilated like this or enlarged like this. So, based on this picture, kitang-kita naman, diba? This is your jugular vein right here. It is very enlarged and visible. Okay, nangangalit nga siya. It's enlarged. Now, is this good? Once you see it, well, it's not good when you see it. Why? Because when you see distension of your jugular vein, it can be a sign of CHF, which is congestive heart failure. It can be a sign of cardiac tamponade or pulmonary hypertension, or even a superior vena cava obstruction. Okay, so hindi siya, I mean, it's not good. Ano ba yung congestive heart failure? So congestive heart failure is when the heart muscle doesn't pump blood as good as it should. Okay? So, ang nangyayari, yung heart muscle, hindi na siya effective sa pagde-deliver ng blood throughout the body. Nangyayari din yan na yung enlargement na yan ng jugular vein when there's obstruction in the superior vena cava. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Remember, blood is being drained by the veins. It should go back to the heart. So, pag yung babalikan niya ay barado, so the superior vena cava, pag barado siya, anong i-expect mo? Di ba backflow? So, pag may backflow, nagkakaroon ng increase in pressure dun sa area na yun. Kasi nagpupumilit siyang bumaba, dadaan via your superior vena cava, pero dahil may blockage, hindi siya makababa. So, ang tendency ng vessel would be to enlarge. So, yun yung superior vena cava obstruction. Kaya yung jugular venous distension ay sign, pwedeng maging sign nun. Um, Cardiac tamponade is when there's fluid in the heart sac. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Pag may fluid, hindi bagay yung may fluid. Yung pericardial sac, yun yung may fluid. So, it means na may build up ng pressure sa heart. Kasi pag may fluid dun sa area when there's not supposed to be one, edi ang nangyayari ay nagkakaroon ng pressure. So pag nagkaroon ng unnecessary pressure sa heart itself, then madidisrupt yung buong system, and that can happen, yung jugular venous distension. So same with the pulmonary hypertension. So any changes in the pressure within the system, within the body, can actually disrupt the other parts. So, what is it for us? Bakit kailangan nating malaman? Well, when we see a person with this kind of manifestation, enlarged ang kanilang jugular vein, then it should tell us as healthcare workers, it should tell us as practitioners na there's something wrong with the person. You can't just dismiss. One thing that I have noticed, like dito, in the US, when a person would come in for a new patient exam, yung doctor who I work for, she does like a thorough exam. I mean, not really a systemic review, pero hindi lang siya nakafocus sa ano yung nakikita within the oral cavity. She would usually palpate, as in parang parang oral diagnosis. May palpation ng lymph nodes, even palpation sa joint area. So, like visual, head and neck. Hindi lang nakafocus sa oral cavity. So, that's why, as dental practitioners, kita natin to eh. It's still part of the head and neck area. Distension ng jugular vein. Very, very visible. Okay, recap. Recap of what we have just discussed regarding venous drainage. Okay, so this time the arrow goes down. So we drain from the top and then it goes down. Hindi ko na pala sinama yung pinakataas-taas. So ARMV would be the anterior portion of your retromandibular vein. So plus your facial vein, you would form your common facial vein. So common facial vein would drain to your internal jugular vein. Then your internal jugular vein and subclavian vein would form your brachiocephalic trunk, and then it goes to your superior vena cava, and then eventually to your right atrium. Now, on the other end, you have the posterior portion of your retromandibular vein, plus your posterior auricular vein would drain straight into your external jugular vein. Other veins that can drain into your external jugular vein would be your anterior jugular vein. Nakita natin kanina yan. And then you have some cervical veins and suprascapular veins. So they can all drain into your external jugular vein. And then eventually, you would be forming your subclavian vein right here. And then subclavian plus internal jugular vein, your brachiocephalic trunk or your innominate vein, and then down to your superior vena cava, to your right atrium, unoxygenated blood going back to the heart to be oxygenated again. Any questions so far? May tanong? May iba ay magkatanungan? Tingnan ko nga kung ano mga pinagsasabi niyo dito. Okay. Sabi ni Ben, I believe I will remember it until board exam. Yeah, you should. You should remember it until board exam. Ang sabi ni Jamela ay si Matt ay kumakanta ng order taker. Ano yun? What is? Nandiyan pa ba si Matt? Any questions? Let's see how delayed. May tanong? I mean, this is just, this is basically the venous drainage. It cannot be any simpler than that. So, meron ba kayong katanungan? Nawalan daw po ng data si Matt. Kumanta ka kasi nawalan ka tuloy ng data. So, may tanong? Sino ba nandito? I can't see actually kung sino nandito. Well, except for ito, si Cathy, Jamela, Ven. So, tying it up, no, tying it up between your arteries and your veins, you just have to be systematic on how you just have to be systematic on how you study it. Okay? Ang kulit niya rin eh. Talaga nga naman, pag kumakanta si Matt, parang nagkaka-jugular venous distension. Very vivid picture. Diba? Na-imagine nyo na yun. So, alam nyo na, pagka nangangalit na yung mga ugat, alam nyo na yung scientific term for that. Okay. May katanungan? Ano mga sinasabi ko? Yeah, so when you study arteries and veins, all you have to do is to be systematic about it. Because that will make your life a whole lot easier. So what we did with the arteries, we started from the heart going up. I mean, kasi nga, blood is pumped from the heart going outwards to the different parts of your body. And then what we did with the veins is, because it's draining towards the heart. So I started with the top, then go down. Personally speaking, or just thinking about it now, if you just repeat it, hindi nyo naman kailangan ulit-ulitin siya ng 100 times. No, it didn't take 100 times to remember those. Lalo na at they're kind of simplified already. So, you'll remember them for sure. For sure. You'll remember them. I think I still have one more slide. Let me check. Yeah. Meron pa nga isa. Okay. Tips on studying anatomy. These are my tips. Know the different planes of space when you study. Remember, sinabi ko nga kanina, di ba, we are a three-dimensional being. So you have to know the different planes of space. That way, when you imagine, alam ninyo kung nasaan siya. So, like different planes of space. Nasaan ba yung sagittal view, frontal view, transverse view. And then, in particular with arteries and veins, you have to know junctions. Junctions and terminal vessels or end vessels. Kasi usually yung mga tanong sa board exam, puro ganun. So, paano na-form yung common facial vein? Bakit siya naging common? Anong nag-join para maging common facial vein? Diba? Then now you can easily answer, kaya may common facial vein is because of the junction of your facial vein and the anterior portion of your retromandibular vein. Okay? So, pag tinanong kayo, sabihin nyo lang, ba yan, dali, yun lang. So, know your junctions and your terminal vessels. Dyan sa know, sinabi ko, diba, know the different planes of space. Kasi when you imagine, you have to know saan nanggagaling yung imagination nyo. Like, for example, yung cavernous sinus. I showed you 2 different pictures of the cavernous sinus. One is like a lateral view. Diba? And then one is I think the other one is a coronal section. Kaya yung view ng cavernous sinus na pinakita kong isa, nakita ninyo ano yung contents ng cavernous sinus. On both sides. Diba? Meron tayong contents on the lateral aspect, meron tayong contents on the medial aspect. So, ibang cut yun compared dun sa usual na nakikita nating drawing na yung cavernous sinus nasa taas, sa ilalim niya nandun yung pterygoid plexus, di ba? Ibang angle yun. So you have to know your planes of space. So when you imagine, tatulon ako dito sa third, you have to know. So when you imagine, you can correctly imagine things. It's easier to know where you are in terms of planes in space para pag nag-imagine ka, tama yung imagination mo at masusundan mo siya talaga. And then another tip on studying anatomy is learn to locate, have a general idea where the body parts are located. Kasi I realize now that this can actually make things really easy. So, an example nun, yeah. So, head and neck. What are the different structures in the head and neck area? You study that. And then what are the different structures in the thoracic area? Or in the trunk? Or in your upper and lower limb? If you segregate, if you study that way, alam mo yun, hindi sila magja-jumble-jumble lahat sa utak mo. You neatly file them in your mind. These things, alam mo yun, marami sila eh. So you have to neatly file them. So have an idea where these things are located. Okay? And then I cannot stress this anymore than I should. Just keep repeating it over and over and over again. Because before you know it, alam mo na siya. Before you know it, you have already memorized it. So in trying to trace and retrace your steps, or yung sinusundan mo kung saan siya pupunta, you'll eventually just get it. So tracing and retracing and repeating it in your mind, plus you have a picture on your head, and you know where it is, it should be very helpful for you. I believe so. Okay? May tanong? May katanungan? So, we'll stop here for today. And yeah, Cinderella ako ngayong araw. Hindi ako lumagpas ng 12:00. And if you have any questions, just post your questions or your clarifications on in the Facebook group. And yeah, if you have your own mnemonics, if you have your own techniques of studying them, by all means share. I mean, that's there's a group, diba? So it's a learning environment, not just between us, but you can learn from one another. Malay mo, mas madali yung paraan nyo. Diba? So, There you go. We're done with arteries and veins. Okay, so I'll see you guys again. Till the next, you guys have a blessed day and galingan nyo yung pag-aaral nyo and know, hear me out. Know that I'm praying for you and I am rooting for you and I just want you guys to win this, crush this, and makuha niyo yung mga lisensya niyo. So if you have any concerns, in studying, or if you have any, just concerns that you just need to keep your mind off of things, well, you can always send me a message or you can post it to group if you're open. If if it's okay with you to be vulnerable, then that would be great. Okay. So I'll see you guys.